Good afternoon. Today is the 20th of December, and this is the 2.5-year ownership report on our 2019 SsangYong Tivoli 1.6 Ultimate Manual. We've had this car since July 2020. We bought it just after some of the first lockdown measures eased, and it's now covered about 29,500 miles. We got it on I think 6,100 approximately. It's not been completely trouble-free, and in various videos I've done over the years on the channel, I've covered the main issue we've had with this car. That was in April 2021. But apart from that, there's not really a lot to say about this in terms of what has happened and what hasn't. The big thing we did, apart from the issue I'll kind of get back to in a little bit, is have the car bodywork done. You wouldn't know it, but there was a dent in this door, and there were scrapes on this side and on this side. None of them actually done by me, I might add. I have done things to cars in the time, but not this one so much. The car is normally used by my lady wife for getting to and from work. Actually, it's rare that I have it on my own, which is one of the reasons why I'm filming it today. I have taken it to be cleaned for her, but it doesn't normally look quite as good as this. So the Tivoli is a car that's been around since 2015. This is a late pre-facelift one. It's a September 2019 car. The facelift for this car occurred about May 2020. It was supposed to be a bit earlier than that, but the pandemic delayed it. And this has a 1.6 litre petrol engine which generates about 125 horsepower and a 6-speed manual gearbox. The automatic Tivolis tend to be a little bit more common, but the Tivoli is just a rare car anyway. You don't see a lot of them around. SsangYong has just had its future secured by a company called the e-XGi Group in Korea. Last month they finalised all the transactions to buy the company. The company actually might be renamed. We don't know yet, but the future of the company is now secure. It's not a big seller in this country, mainly because people don't know what it is. The list price of this car when it was new in 2019 would have been around £19,000. These days I don't know what this is worth, but we paid around 13,700 for this in 2020. It's probably actually not lost that much value, despite the fact it's a SsangYong Tivoli and nobody knows what they are. If we open up the boot, we can see we've got some space. Now the figures really vary as to how much space this car actually has. I think it's about 350 litres really, but it depends if you've got the luggage board that goes on top of here. Yeah, you can get a larger version of the pre-facelift Tivoli with Tivoli XLV. That's got a 750 litre boot, which is enormous. It doesn't quite look as nice as this though. I prefer the look of these, although the XLV is a bit more useful of course. One of the things that has gone wrong is that, yes, this was half of the clip that retains this sort of load blind at the back, and if you're not careful when putting this back, this seat, you slam it too much, you can actually completely wreck that load blind thing there. And it's been glued once. We're going to actually have to get that done again. There's the other bit of it. You've got to be really careful in putting the seats back that you don't damage it, that you don't put it in the front position, you put it in the back position. Because otherwise that happens, and they're about £120 to replace. I don't want to pay £120 to replace it. I'd much rather just get this clip fixed or get it 3D printed, but you know, that's what we'll do. In the bottom here we've got a space over spare wheel. That was one of the main things I wanted in a car, was a space over spare wheel. I don't like this massive lip here. It is a bit intrusive really, but if you put the luggage board or something in here, which is available on some models, not all of them, you reduce the boot size considerably, which is why we leave it. Because this is an Ultimate, which is the top of the range car, it actually still is, we've got a reversing camera and parking sensors. There we go, and the reversing camera in this car is actually quite good considering the price of it. These alloy wheels are quite big actually on it. They're diamond cut and they're 18 inches, which is a bit ridiculous actually. Also got tinted glass in the back. My lady has some socks in here. it's very easy to get in and out. Very, very easy. Slide straight in. Yes, I don't know why that bungee cord thing is missing. I don't know why even SsangYong decided they didn't want potential map pockets in this car. Nobody really knows. These are the two mysteries of life. So I'll just pause a second and shut the door. Okay, viewers, you can see that actually the rear of the car is a bit darker than the front because we've got privacy glass in here. We've also got an armrest. Nice leather. This is, I think, genuine leather upholstery. I'm pretty sure it is. I've never had this 100% confirmed, even by the people who work for SsangYong UK, but I think this is genuine leather, and it's very nice, particularly in a car that costs, you know, £19,000. When something like this, if it had a more familiar badge, might be £25,000, something like that. Quality in here is okay. I think these switches are a bit cheap. The front ones are even worse, actually, really, because there are more of them. But you get this enormous amount of storage. If you're just very careful, open this door, make sure no one's coming, you can see it's a huge, huge door bin. It's massive. And of course, you can fold the seats. They did leave a step in the floor, as I mentioned, but that's okay. You also get a light for the passengers in the rear. You don't get that in MGZS. You don't get tinted glass in the back. Well, most you didn't until they started changing the models a little bit. So we've got quite a few quite good features in this car. It's very comfortable in here as well. Right, let's get in the front, shall we? So this is a pre-facelift car but with the older dashboard in it. And one thing that I always say is that this little bit here, nobody really knows what that's for or why it's like that. I've always said it's to hold the gun that's used by Tom Adams in the 1965 James Bond rip-off spy film called Licensed to Kill. Not Licensed to Kill, Licensed to Kill. Because his Mauser gun would fit perfectly in there. The glove box in this car is absolutely huge. It's massive. You can fit all kinds of stuff in there. The post-facelift ones have a much smaller glove box and don't have that little shelf there. So we'll turn the car on. Yes, I know I need to press the brake and the clutch to start it. That's, you know, I've been driving this car for a while, viewers. Okay, so we'll just make sure when this comes on we turn the radio down so we don't get any copyright infringement. We've got 3 different screens in here, which do look sort of interesting. Tivoli is quite an interesting car in that it's not been too much kind of designed for the European market like some other Korean cars are. And so you get sort of, you know, little natty noises and things which come through. Now, if you turn the lights on, you can see the instruments change colour. Now you can configure the colour to whichever colour option that you want. And I personally quite like this. When the auto lights come on here, you can actually see that the lights are on by the fact the dials have changed, which I think is fantastic. It's got Heart 80s here, built-in Sat Nav in this car. The 2019 Tivolis were the first ones to have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's one of the reasons I bought this car. It's only a 7-inch screen. This is a TomTom Sat Nav. Let's make that a bit bigger. There we are. It's near Eastleigh today. If I'm home again, you can actually have this so you can see what radio station you're listening to, or what, you know, if you've plugged an aux cable in or something like that, you can see all that. You can also have the Sat Nav on at the same time. Not that it's the best Sat Nav ever. I mean, Google Maps is 300 Auto or Apple CarPlay is probably better, but there we go. We also have this very interesting stack here of the heater controls. Now this looks like an absolute nightmare when you first look at it. It looks really confusing, but I think this is fine. I mean, you get used to it quite quickly. The temperatures at the bottom here, that's the mode. You can have separate zones for the climate control if you want. Just have them on this like this. That's the maximum demist. That's a reheated window. That is for recirculation off. You can put it on automatic. I don't tend to do that. And then there's the air conditioning on and off, and that's the fan speed. So it's actually all right. 2-stage heated seats in here, which is nice. Now, there are a few things actually missing in this car in comparison with the 2018 Ultimates, which had a few more bits in them. This car doesn't have stop-start, for example. I think that car might have electric seats. This just has manual seats. I don't care about electric seats, really. It does have a heated steering wheel though, which is good. That's the button for lane keeping assistance, and there's the button for the free steering mode. So if I press that, I'll just show you where it is, and then I press it. You can actually change the steering. It comes up in there, sport and comfort and normal. Sport is by far the best. The other two are just too light. When I took this car to have some work done on it once, the garage had reset everything and they set it back to the comfort steering. I thought the steering was broken because of what has happened. So the main menu in here, it's pretty straightforward really. Navigation, Bluetooth music, that kind of stuff. It's nothing really that exciting because most of the car functions are not in here, they're actually in here. And if you don't set the clocks correctly every time you go from GMT to BST or vice versa, you find out that clock is different from this clock. You have to set both the clocks separately, which is really, really annoying. So you go through the trip button here. This car has cruise control and other things. It's got actually auto high beam and all those other exciting things like that. The trip button cycles through. Then you do lane keeping assist, of course, on here. There's a digital clock, outside temperature. You can see the cluster settings. So if we go long entry on this one, we can actually have a look and see what we can do. So yeah, there's all these driving assistance modes and dashboard lighting and smart auto door lock, and you can turn the welcome sign off if you want, but I quite like it because I'm weird. So I can move it up and down. Let's have a look at the dashboard lighting actually. We might just have a look at that. Yeah, you can actually set the colour if you want, which is great. I think we'll go back to cancel though. Unless you have something else, I'll just leave that for a second. We have to go, I think yes, just go down, back. There we go, that's what we do. And then the same again. So that's that. So you've got the manual handbrake in here. I like manual handbrakes. Very fond of those. 6-speed manual. Now, I said earlier on I was going to tell you about the problem we've had with this car, the main issue. And the main issue is actually, well, it's the clutch slow cylinder. We'll have a look at it under the bonnet in a moment, and I'll show you roughly where it is. You can't quite see it, but I know roughly where it is. When I was driving in Liverpool in April 2021 at a roundabout, the clutch went to the floor and it was not really coming back up, so I had to stop on the roundabout and wait for the recovery service because the clutch slow cylinder actually failed. Now, it was done under warranty. I wouldn't maybe recommend a garage I had it done at. I won't tell you where it was, but they weren't the best. You can go to somewhere else, of course. There's plenty of SsangYong authorised repairers around. But that was the main issue with the car, which is a bit rubbish because we were without it for 2 weeks in the end. So open up. This material here doesn't feel very nice. It's a bit cheap. It's sort of vinyl rather than leather. But that is a very, very big centre cubby. And I think you can put a first generation iPad even in there if you want to. It shows when this car was designed. It came out in 2015. You can still buy a Tivoli, of course. It doesn't quite have the same engines as this now, and the dashboard's different, but you can still buy one. Right, so if we go, just finish off by going back, and then we have to go round here again and exit. Right, excellent. We'll just put it down onto the tire pressure monitoring is there. That's the trip meter since it's filled up. Second trip meter, and the average fuel economy is a bit disappointing, but you've got to remember that it's the middle of winter and this car normally just goes to work and back. That's all it basically does, unless we're doing very long journeys, which we sometimes do. Sometimes I use this car for longer journeys, but most of the time it takes my lady wife to work and back, and for that it's more than adequate really. You've got very big door pockets here. There's huge door pockets. Now, that's hard touch. That's hard touch. But this and that are soft touch. I have no idea why. It's a total mystery. I think one day I exited the car and did the dash again. They sort of sorted some of these things out. Also, we've got power folding mirrors in this car, but the switches just don't feel very nice. This bit's nice here, and that's nice, but the rest of it's just a bit sort of hard and just feels a little bit cheap. It's not a problem, really. It's, you know, there are far worse things in the world than that, but it's just something to bear in mind, really. Like the sunglasses. I wonder where those were. I've been looking for those for months. Right, let's go and look under the bonnet. So this car doesn't actually have full LED headlamps. It's got LED daytime running lights. You can see where they run at the top of the headlamp unit, but the headlamps are actually just projector units. It's fine. It's a minor detail, but if that's the sort of thing you really need in the car, then this doesn't have it. This is a 1.6 normally aspirated engine developing 125 horsepower. It's SsangYong's own unit. There is a diesel version of this engine available as well, but of course, as many of you know, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. It's actually quite easy to work on. The oil filter's just here. I actually have this car independently serviced, unlike most SsangYong owners. Now that does actually preserve the warranty because I have it done at a VAT registered garage, and I have the receipts for the part numbers and everything, which is what you have to do to preserve the 7-year 150,000 mile warranty, which SsangYongs continue to have to this day. The earlier Tivolis only had a 5-year warranty. This has a 7-year warranty, and we had to use it when the clutch slave cylinder failed. I mean, it's somewhere sort of down there. You can see the gearbox. It's somewhere down there. It's not totally unheard of problem with these cars, but it's not common exactly. It's not a common fault. It's just, you know, not unheard of. Obviously, if you buy an automatic Tivoli, that wouldn't really happen. Yes, it is looking very nice today. I must get these alloy wheels sort of refurbed at some point because I have also scuffed them myself. But really, that's most of it. I'll also show you the fact that you could get a 4-wheel drive Tivoli up until the facelift. This is a pre-facelift one. And it's actually got hill descent control. It's only a 2-wheel drive, this, but the wading depth isn't very impressive on paper. But if you do go through big puddles, and there's one at the bottom of the motorway bridge that we very often sort of go through, it just breezes through that kind of stuff, which is good because the other 2 random cars that I drive just have nowhere near this sort of ground clearance, and so that's quite useful. So you have all the sort of rain and things we've had over the last few months. So yes, there is a video of common SsangYong Tivoli issues that I made back in the summer. That's actually been a very successful video. It's one of the reasons why I was very keen to film this ownership report, for those of you who are following it. And I'll put a link to that in the description below. There's also an episode 2 jacket reviews on this car when we first got it, which was filmed in the summer of 2020, and some other ownership reports if you're interested. What are our future plans of this car? I think we're just going to keep it, to be honest. We've got it on a bank loan. It's not a PCP or anything, and I think we'll just see that through. We got this car when it was less than a year old, and by the time the purchase agreement actually finishes, we'll still have some warranty on it. So we're just going to keep it, I think. The other Tivoli owners I've spoken to generally quite like their cars. There have been some problems with them, and you can watch that in the video, but overall we're quite happy. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again very soon. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below.